Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Gabrielle and today I'm going to talk about expensive makeup, and I want to talk about, is this expensive makeup good? I hesitate to say, is this expensive makeup worth it, because makeup is subjective in every way. The way that it works on you, the tones that you like, how much you're willing to spend on it. I hesitate to say like, oh yeah, this is totally worth $100 and you need to spend $100 on this. I'm never gonna be like that kind of person. But I kind of just want to talk about expensive makeup in my collection, and am I happy with it? Do I think that this price is justifiable to me, or that you're at least getting something unique to your collection for the amount of money spent on this item? So that's what we're going to talk about. I don't know what I want to talk about in this video because I kind of have a lot. There's a couple things I want to get more familiar with before sharing my thoughts on them, like a couple of palettes. They won't be in this video, but I want to kind of make this a series and just do as many as I can. These two palettes I want to talk about, and I will for sure talk about them at some point. This palette is like $68, and I do consider that expensive. I consider melt palettes expensive. This, we all know what it is. It's a Pat McGrath palette, $125 or $9. I got it on sale though, but it was still like $80-something. I will talk about these at some point when I'm more familiar with them. It takes longer for me to get familiar with a palette than like a blush or a bronzer. So if you're interested in a not rich person's opinions on expensive things, then just hang out and subscribe and we will get started. I don't have expensive primers because why? Why would I spend money on a primer? I understand primers can be nice. Like we all know, I love Glossier Future Do. I do want to try the Freck Rich Bitch. It looks really nice. But you know, that is not like the fucking Sicily primer. Like $200. Are you fucking serious? I don't really have any expensive primers. So I want to talk about a foundation. Some of these prices might have gone up because of inflation, so I don't remember them all, and I'm probably just gonna have to put them on the screen. This is the Dear Dahlia Skin Paradise Sheer Silk Foundation. This is a Korean luxury brand, so I thought that I would include this in here. I have the shade FW3. This is way too light for me. Even though I am a pretty light person, this is just pale, like pale. So I don't wear it a lot for that reason. Also, the word sheer is in the name. This is not sheer. This is not sheer. I consider this coverage to be at least medium, especially with this not being my exact shade match. It's very obvious that it's not my shade. And this foundation, it doesn't wear well. Like I've tested it a few times and it kind of just looks very worn in after a few hours, and not even like a 12-16 hour day or something like that, like maybe 4 to 6 hours. It just separated and cracked a little bit, and I just find, I don't know, something about the finish of this, it kind of almost looks like I have a film on my face. Kind of hard to describe. It doesn't like melt into your skin or anything. It doesn't look like second skin. It just kind of looks bizarre on me and my skin. This is very beautiful packaging. Dear Dahlia has some pretty beautiful packaging, and I have another product that I will talk about from Dear Dahlia that I like a lot more. But for this, I want to declutter this. I want to declutter this. It's just hard to declutter foundations because I don't know that many people that are paler than me. Like, I'm pretty pale. I don't know that many people that like are white as paper, you know. I don't use this, and I haven't used this in a long time because I don't like it. I don't like it. I have much better foundations at less money. Like my current go-to foundation is a drugstore foundation. So this, I wouldn't say I have seen it work better on other people, but for me, I can't say that, yeah, this was great, you know. So next, I'm going to talk about concealers. And which one do I want to talk about? I'll talk about an under my table concealer. I'll talk about an underrated concealer. This is the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer, and I use the shade 3. I was definitely inspired by Becca Sun because I believe this is like her favorite concealer, or at least one of them. And I do like this. I really like the way that it kind of melts into my skin. I like the coverage that it gives. It's not full coverage. I would say maybe it's like light to medium. It just looks nice. I feel like it wears well too. Like it doesn't really look super cakey under my eyes because, as I've said before, I have creases on my face, and so I haven't found a product that like absolutely defies gravity and doesn't settle into those lines. But I feel like this wears pretty well under my eyes. But the only thing I will say about this is it looks dry on my nose. I used just a little bit on my nose because it looks pretty dry on there, but I really like the way that it looks under my eyes all blended out. I think it adds a nice little highlight to like my forehead and things. Yeah, the only thing about this is just it doesn't look great on my nose, but I kind of cover up any mistakes with the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I do kind of consider this to be a little expensive because like it's a setting spray. Like bro, really, it's like $36, but I love it. I love the setting spray so much. It just like it melts my makeup perfectly. Even when I'm not feeling great about the way I'm looking, all I need is this. All I need is this and it'll kind of fix things. I can't really speak to how much it makes my makeup last longer because I just use this to kind of give me that glow and to kind of really make the powders melt into my skin. I use this right after setting my face, so love that. But this, I'm wearing this today. Patrick Ta palette has a really nice mirror. Yeah, it just looks like skin. It just looks like skin. So I really like this concealer, and it kind of has a luxe feel to it as well. Like it's very slick, just has the little Armani logo right here. I know the Luminous Silk concealer is really popular because of course the Luminous Silk foundation is like famous, like world famous. I haven't tried either of those. I believe the Luminous Silk foundation is full coverage, so I'm not sure if I would use that much because I'm not like anti full coverage foundations, but for me, I don't wear them every day. I prefer like a light to medium coverage for like daily things. If I'm going to like a really great place, if I'm like going somewhere, like going out, maybe going to a concert, a wedding or something, then I'll wear like a full coverage foundation, but it's been a while. But to me, my favorite full coverage foundation is Cover FX Power Play. It's remarkable, and I haven't worn it in a long time because I just don't reach for full coverage, but I should get some use out of that one. I did used to use it a lot, but I should bust it back out at some point. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about the second Dear Dahlia product. This is their loose powder. This is the Skin Paradise Soft Velvet Finishing Powder, and again, it just has like this really cute packaging. This looks small, but I don't use a lot of powder. I am like anti-baking, and I just take a little bit of powder and I cover my brush and then I just tap it off. So it'll still take me like a little while to get through this. Powder's really nice. Like I really like the way that it kind of blurs where I set. Like I set under my eyes, around like my smile lines, a little bit on my forehead, just places where my foundation usually separates. And I think it just gives like this really soft finish to the face. And I think that this does wear well. I've been using this powder for like 2 years now. Well, not quite, but I got it like in 2021. So I've worn this like a lot of times because it's just like kind of a go-to for me. Kind of like the Fenty Beauty, kind of like another powder that I would include in a future video of these. And it's just good. It just doesn't like make me look textured is the word. Like it doesn't emphasize any of my texture or anything. It's just like solid. This is just like a solid powder. And then for all over the face, I want to talk about this Dior Powder No Powder, right? Yeah, Face and Body Powder No Powder. Is this discontinued? I feel like I heard that this was getting discontinued. Nor. Okay, so it looks like this. I have the shade 2N, which I'm not neutral, and I don't buy neutral things because I'm not neutral. But does this not look yellow to you? Like, I feel like it's fine on my face, you know? This powder kind of reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury powder in the sense of like, it kind of mattifies your face a little bit. It's not drying at all. I am also wearing this powder today, and you could still kind of see a glow coming through, and I'm not wearing any highlight. That could also be because of the setting spray too, though. This doesn't like emphasize my pores, emphasize my texture, anything like that. It just looks nice and smooth when I set it. It just kind of feels like Charlotte Tilbury Part 2. I would say I feel like the Charlotte Tilbury powder is better than this one, but I feel like I use both of these powders in the sense of like I'm using all powder products, or I'm fine with my face being a little more mattified. I used it today just to use it for this video, but like I did use cream products today, so I would normally use like my Kosas for that, because you still see like the glow and things, but I feel like my face still looks pretty good and like not matte, flat, or dry or anything like that. So this is a product that I have been lusting after for years, and I just thought, oh no, like one day but not now. But then I realized that I bought something in this category that was more than this. I was like, wait, go ahead and get that thing, you might as well. The Chanel Cream Bronzer, the ever so famous Chanel Cream Bronzer with the terrible shade range. And this bronzer is huge, like that's a lot of bronzer. And I love the little swirl, obviously it's very cute and aesthetically pleasing. This is a good bronzer. This is a really good bronzer. I got it during Black Friday. It wasn't necessarily a sale, I just used my Ulta points, and I have the lightest shade, of course. It's the bronzer I'm wearing today. So you could see it kind of gives like this natural glow to my skin, whereas other cream bronzers, they're like more pigmented, and it's like, yeah, this is for when you want to be bronzed. Like this is for like, yeah bitch, I did get some sun, how about you? Like, and this is just more natural, which I like. I do like that. It leans a little orange when I swatch it, like it does. And I'll admit, when I first used this bronzer, it did kind of scare me a little bit. I was like, oh whoa, like please, I need to like this. I need to like this. It's $50 and I like it. I do like to use it. I think it has like a nice amount of pigmentation and things like that. I think it's just like a nice buildable formula, and this could easily be like an everyday bronzer, like easily. And you have so much fucking product, so much fucking product, like wow. As much as I like the swirl, I like kind of getting use out of it and like destroying the swirl. They need to expand their shade range. They really need to expand their shade range. It took them forever to create like a shade 2, and it's like, bro, like Chanel, I feel like they mostly make makeup for white people. There is a lot to unpack when luxury brands don't cater to deep skin tones. There is a lot to unpack there. For blush, let's talk about what I got for Christmas. I got the Gucci blush for Christmas. It's like I'm wearing a fucking retainer all over again. This is the Gucci, I think it's just called like the Luminous Matte Blush or something, which is like kind of an interesting name. And I got the shade Tender Apricot, and look at this color. Look at how cute this color is. Like, it's so interesting to me from a luxury brand, because I feel like, you know, luxury brands, they cater to like a more mature audience, so they don't want the funky colors and they don't want like too much. They just want like the basics, the everydays, the approachable things. And not this isn't approachable, it definitely is approachable, but it's just so cute and like you pinch your cheeks, and I just fucking love this color. This blush is really nice. It's really nice. Like, I kind of was going through a phase where I was just using it over and over again. I was like waiting for there to be not as much pigment with these blushes, because that's just what I was expecting from a more luxury price point, but I feel like there's a good amount of pigmentation. It's not overkill, it's definitely more buildable, but like this just looks like a really nice natural flush on my cheeks. I really like the formula. I really like the way that it wears, and even though it's powder, and I love cream blush, like I love cream blush, this powder blush doesn't look powdery. It doesn't look like chalky at all. It just looks really smooth and natural and like a nice little flush. So I wouldn't get any more shades personally. This was the only one that stuck out to me, and I told my mom. So my mom was like, oh, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, oh, my list is expensive, but here. I could see her, like, if this shade was out of stock, which it was for a while, and I was like nervous, I could see her being like, oh, I'll just get her another color. So I like made it clear that this was the only color I wanted. It's nice. It's really nice. Even it's just small. Like, it's like $49, and this is like smaller than the palm of my hand. And I have small hands. I forgot to swatch the blush. I should swatch it. It feels really nice and buttery too when I touch it. Just like, it's so cute. This is perfect for spring, but like I wear whatever I want whenever I want. But like, this is just the perfect spring color, is it not? Like, groundbreaking. All right, let's talk about a highlighter. Even though I haven't been wearing much highlighter for like the past year, over a year. But this is the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow Highlighter, and I have the shade Crystal Nebula. I will swatch this one. This was actually also a Christmas present from my sister, and this became like the highlighter that I wore the most. Like, hello. Hello, like, it can be more natural if you want it to be, or it could just be like this Bing highlighter. Like, see how I blended it out and it's still shiny, but it kind of still gives that glow. I think that this is a really pretty formula. The only thing I'll say about it is that it kind of picked up a little bit on my like texture. I kind of had to like be careful with that area and just kind of like go over it with my sponge. But I think that it gave this like really nice wet looking glow. I don't mind that it's in like this doe foot packaging. I think that it works like that. I don't necessarily feel like you're getting too much product when you use it. Like with some products that have bad packaging and you can't figure out how much you need and it's hard to get a correct amount. I've been leaning more towards liquid highlighters when I do wear a highlighter, and this one is great. It's great and it's what I gravitate towards, and I kind of want more liquid highlighters. I just haven't bought any because I don't use them a lot, but this is good. I mean, it's just good. I hope this one's not discontinued too. I think I'm just going to talk about 2 eyeshadow palettes for this video. And I'm going to talk about palettes that I've used quite a bit. The Natasha Denona Gold palette. This is the most expensive palette in my collection. I got this off of Mercari and I pretty much paid full price. It was like over $100. Again, it's hard to say like, yes, this is worth $100 of my dollars, because I do believe that when we are pricing that much for makeup, it is getting a little ridiculous. I don't know, I used payments. This is just a palette that I had been wanting for a very long time. It's discontinued, but maybe if you were thinking of getting it like secondhand, or just like wanted to know like, hey, was that expensive palette ever actually good? Like, yeah. This is just kind of like my dream. Like, I will admit a couple of the shades are a little similar, like the browns here. This one is just like a hair deeper than this one. But I feel like it's just a dream for me to have like a neutral palette that also has some grunginess to it. Like this mustard over here, I love. And we have like a variety of the textures of the shimmers in here. So some of them are sparkly toppers and some of them are more standard. Yeah, and like the standard shimmers feel very thick. A couple of these shimmers are very light, and they're just like very twinkly toppery shades, and this one is a more standard shimmer and it's pretty thick and it doesn't really have that much shine, but you could kind of add shine with the toppers. I think there's a couple of duochromes in here. There's a cream to matte formula in here. I feel like with this palette you're getting a lot of a variety of different things. Even though it's a neutral palette with a pop of blue, it's pretty. I think this is just a really beautiful color story for a neutral lover like myself. The mattes are really easy to blend. They're buttery, they're buildable, and the shimmers are, I've already said. I think this is a good palette. $100 for powdered dust is a little ridiculous, but I can at least say I'm not disappointed with this purchase that I made. This next palette, I like it and I use it, but I kind of feel like I wouldn't have gotten it had I known what I know now. This is the Melts Mary Jane palette, the Maraca palette. This is also a neutral palette. It's just like a cool toned neutral grungy palette, and every time I look at this color story I do feel inspired and I do like it. It's just this palette only has 4 mattes, and if I knew that before I bought it I just wouldn't have bought it. Like, the mattes are kind of what drew me into this palette the most, especially this green one right here, and I feel like I kind of use the same colors when I use this palette. I really need to step out of my box and do some more with this palette. It's nice. The mattes are really good. They are like the good melt mattes. I know that they can be flip-floppy and things like that. I still kind of want to try their 420 palette, but I'm just like scared because I heard that palette is like god awful. But this palette I like. I know a lot of people didn't like this palette, and some people do, but some people don't. The shimmers in here, no, they're not my favorite shimmers. They're not even as good as like the Natasha Denona shimmers, but these are fine. Like, I do think that they add a little bit of depth. Like Sweet Lucy I use a lot, and it has just like that little twinkle in it. You see, this one is Mary Jane. I feel like I should use Bomba more. Yeah, Bomba, that's a really nice color. I should use that more. I struggle with using shimmers that are not as interesting or like twinkly or sparkly or shiny. Like, I am a brat in that way, and the shimmers I prefer to use are like bam in your face shimmers. Even though the shimmer, I mean the one I'm wearing today is still pretty sparkly. I could easily just like take this and like top it off with something, but I do really like the tone of this. I think it's pretty. Santa Maria has like a little purple in it, it looks like, but I love grays. I love gray eyeshadow, and so I feel like I could get some use out of these. There are some really interesting colors in here. I do like this palette for what it is, and every time I look at it, I think, yeah, I'm so glad I have that. But I struggle to say that it's worth the price. You know, melt palettes are pricey to me. They're like almost $60. And, you know, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. And I only have 4 melt palettes, so I can't really say, yeah, I've tried them all and they're all good, you know? Yeah, this one is like a little tougher because it was a lot of money just for like 4 mattes and okay shimmers, you know? Shimmers that I have to add something to if I want it to be up to my preference. But if you prefer a standard shimmer, maybe these could work for you. But as far as like a cool tone, grungy, neutral color story, I think this is nice. I kind of just wish it was like $30. I don't have any expensive eyeliners. The most expensive eyeliners I have are like $20, so I don't really consider that too high because I feel like a lot of people buy eyeliners at that price point. For mascara, this is something that I don't have the full size of, but I have a sample, so I've still interacted with the formula and I can still talk about it. The Lancome Lash Idol mascara, I believe it's like $27, and I do want the full size. I think this mascara is so good. I feel like it's my favorite mascara right now. It has like this curved wand to it. The top has shorter bristles and then this side has like longer bristles, so I like to start off with the small ones and then turn it around and then kind of pump up the volume with the bigger ones. I feel like this gives me length and volume and separation. Like I feel like this gives me everything that I want. And my natural lashes are like very stubborn and they're short. I guess they are sort of curly, but like usually with like the mascaras that I use, my lashes just kind of fall, and I feel like this one, it can keep them up for like a pretty decent length of time. I'm not wearing this today because I couldn't find it earlier, but I have it now. I want the full size. I really think that this could become like the only mascara I ever need, because like with mascaras and like, you know, them going bad quickly and things like that, it probably would be smarter for me to just have one. And I don't really have much variety, and I want my lashes to look like this day and then this the next day. Like I'm fine with them looking the same all the time, and I feel like you could kind of customize them a little bit with this mascara. So this is really good. It's great. There's other mascaras that I've heard are great that are less money that I am willing to try, but for what this is, it's great. Like it's really great. The only thing I can't speak to is I haven't cried in this mascara, so I don't know how well it does for that. Like I've cried in the Essence Lash Princess and the Flower Beauty Warrior Princess mascara. I've cried in both of those and those held up, but this, I haven't done that yet, so I can't really speak on that. And for lips, I'm going to talk about a lipstick I've kind of been getting a lot of use out of lately. I got a Tom Ford lipstick. I got a Tom Ford lipstick for Christmas from my mom once again, and I have the shade Sable Smoke. This is just like a really good everyday neutral for me. There's usually like a TF on the bullet and it's gone. Because I've worn it that much, but it's just like this really nice peachy neutral. Like, have you seen peachy neutrals before? Yeah, you have. But like this one, I think it works really well for like a lot of different looks and things, and it wears fine. Like it's not this bulletproof lipstick. I'm not like, oh wow, I can eat and I can drink and I can kiss and I can do all these things and it won't come off. Like it comes off eventually. It's a little resistant to things, like if you're just like sipping on things through a straw, it won't come off then. But I always just take it with me just to reapply it, and that's kind of just what I expect out of bullet lipsticks. Like I don't expect for them to be like life proof or anything like that, especially when it has like a more creamy formula, which this one has. It just feels really nice and plush and comfortable on the lips. It doesn't feel drying at all. It just feels nice. It feels like lipstick, like it does feel like lipstick, but it's just like a nice comfortable lipstick. And we all know these lipsticks are insane. They're like $58. So do I think that there are more comfortable formulas? Yeah, it's not as comfortable as like a gloss. I feel like the lipstick I have that feels the most like nothing is the M Cosmetics Infinite Lip Clouds, I think they're called. It doesn't feel like a lip balm or anything. It kind of feels like a MAC lipstick. I haven't worn a MAC lipstick in a long time, but from what I remember from them, I feel like they're kind of similar in that way. You know what? It smells like a MAC lipstick. It smells like a MAC lipstick, so I don't know. I think it's nice. I do think it's a nice lipstick. I love the color, and I think it's really great for like everyday use. I think if you're gonna buy like a luxury product, I think it would be better to know it's something you would use every day than like for when you're feeling adventurous or expensive or things like that. Like you want to get your money's worth. You want to show some use in your makeup, and I feel like for this I've been using it a lot, and it does make me feel a little bougie taking it out of my purse when I'm just like going to a local restaurant, but like I like it. I don't know, I like it. Well, I think that's everything that I wanted to cover in this video. I decided to just do like a full face of makeup, like one for each category of makeup, and I can definitely do this again. So there's definitely some things that I didn't talk about that I would like to talk about because I really like those things too. So let me know if you're interested in seeing anything in particular that maybe you remember that I have or are just curious if I have it. It's possible, but I'm also not like exclusive to luxury makeup. Most of the makeup I have is like more high-end, so I have some things that I can definitely talk about, like some Patrick Ta, some Pat McGrath, some more Armani, some more Gucci. Like just let me know. Also let me know if you've tried any of the products I talk about. Of course, let me know what you think about them and their high price points. Do you think that they're worth it or good? Do you think that they're just good? But I think that is everything from me today. So follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Gabrielle, and thank you so much for watching as well. You've been a lovely audience, and I'll talk to you later.